Welcome to Delhi, India's vibrant capital where ancient histories collide with modern chaos. Join me as we explore one of the city's most magnificent Mughal monuments and a few other hidden treasures. Delhi is home to over 30 million people in this metro area, making it one of the world's most populated cities. And you can feel every single one of them on these roads. The traffic here is legendary, a symphony of honking horns that never stop. Honking isn't road rage, it's communication. It's how the drivers say, I'm here, I'm passing, move over, or just hello. You'll hear it day and night, a constant reminder that Delhi never sleeps. But escape the traffic and you'll find Delhi's true treasures, like this Humayun's tomb, a 16th century masterpiece that inspired the Taj Mahal. Steps aren't just for show, they're symbolic. In Mughal architecture, the elevated platform represents the throne of God, separating the earthly from the divine. Climbing these steps, visitors would descend from the worldly realm into the sacred space. The height and steepness were intentional, demanding effort and humility before entering the presence of royalty and even death. This is the main cenotaph of Emperor Humayun in the central chamber directly beneath the main dome. It's positioned in the exact center of the building. The actual grave is in the chamber below, following Islamic tradition. Throughout this complex, over 150 members of the Mughal dynasty rest in eternal peace. His wife, Biga Begum, children, and later emperors who chose to be buried near the founder of their greatest era. From up here, you can almost see the entire complex. Soon, we're gonna go to Isha Khan's tomb, which was built before Humayun's monument. It stands as a reminder that this ground was sacred long before the Mughals made it magnificent. Now, walking down these stairs, be careful. Emperor Humayun himself died in 1556 descending stairs from his library with his arms full of books when the call to prayer was announced. This magnificent tomb was built by his widow to honor the emperor who reclaimed his throne, only to lose his life to a staircase just 6 months later. Arab Sarai Gateway. Notice these intricate elephant designs carved into the gateway? The elephants symbolize power and royalty in Mughal India. And here, to our right, stands what's known as the Dead Mosque, a mosque where no prayers were ever offered. Why? Because it was built within a tomb complex, a place of the dead. Islamic tradition discourages regular congregational prayers in graveyards, as mosques should be places of life and community worship, not surrounded by dead. So, this beautiful structure has stood silent for centuries, architecturally a mosque, but spiritually dormant. This stunning octagonal building is the tomb of Isha Khan Niazi, a noble in Sher Shah Suri court who died in 1547, almost 20 years before Humayun's tomb was even built. There is a saying, never predict the hour of your death. Isha Khan built this magnificent tomb for himself while still alive, expecting to rest here peacefully. But he died unexpectedly before completion, and the tomb was finished by his son. Check out this ceiling. It's a typical Afghan Lodi architecture. The transition from octagonal base to a circular dome is achieved through ingenious squinches and pendantatives, showcasing the mathematical precision of the 16th century Indo-Islamic architecture. Now we're entering the legendary Red Fort, La Quilla, built by Shah Jahan between 1638 and 1648 as the palace fort of his new capital, Shahjahanabad. I hope I said that right. Notice how the gates are offset? This is defensive Mughal architecture and we'll see much more of this. The second gate doesn't align with the first, forcing invaders to turn and slow down, making them vulnerable to defenders above. Strategic brilliance disguised as beauty. We're now walking through the Chata Chowk, a covered bazaar, and this is extraordinary. In 17th century India, covered markets were almost unheard of. Shah Jahan was inspired to build this after seeing a covered bazaar in Peshawar in 1646, now in Pakistan. He wanted to bring that same innovation to his palace. They sold the finest luxuries in the empire, reserved for royalty here, and some shops are still continuing the 400-year-old tradition now. This structure has a secret. There's a saying here: speak slowly, the walls have ears. Stand in one corner and whisper, and someone in the opposite corner can hear you perfectly. The arched acoustics create a whispering gallery effect. Imagine the intrigue. Courtiers could eavesdrop, spies could listen, secrets traveled through stone. This is the Divan-i-Am, the hall of public audience, where the Emperor Shah Jahan, who ruled from 1628 to 1658, received common citizens and heard their grievances. See that marble canopy with the Bengali style curved roof? That's where the emperor's throne once sat, the famous peacock throne, studded with diamonds, rubies, emeralds, and pearls. Stood right there. But what you're seeing is a replica. The original was looted in 1739 by Persian invader Nahid Shah and never returned to India. The emperor would also enter from the door behind the throne, added later for private access, allowing him to appeal dramatically before his subject without walking through the crowds. I think this is the coolest part. Nahir I Bishit, a canal or paradise, or an engineering marvel that once flowed through the entire Red Fort. Using a gravitational fountain system, water was distributed continuously through gardens and royal apartments. It didn't just look beautiful, it acted like ancient air conditioning, cooling the palace naturally in Delhi's scorching heat. Imagine these empty channels filled with flowing water, fountains dancing in the sunlight, and the sound of water echoing through marble halls. The Mughals didn't just build palaces, they built paradise on earth. This is Rang Mahal, the Palace of Colors, the Palace of Distinction, the largest of the royal apartments, and its northern and southern ends are with Shish Mahal, the House of Mirrors, where thousands of tiny mirrors created a starlit effect by candlelight. I will show you this at another location. And here is Taj Mahal, the emperor's private palace. See those large stairs going down? This is where animal fights were organized for royal entertainment. Lions versus elephants, stage spectacles of power and nature, watched by emperors from above. And this is the Divani Ikas, a hall of private audience where the emperor received only his most important visitors. The marble pedestal in the center once held the actual peacock throne. There's a famous inscribed verse by the medieval poet Amir Khusra, meaning, if there will be a paradise on earth, it is this, it is this, it is this. The royal baths or hammams weren't just for bathing, they were the emperor's favorite retreat where important business decisions were made in steam and privacy. I mean, hot and cold water on demand in the 17th centuries. And here, Zafar Mahal, built in 1842 by Bahadur Shah Zafar, the last Mughal emperor. By this time, the empire was crumbling under British control, but Zafar still built in red sandstone. And these are the Savan and Badon pavilions, identical marble structures standing north and south, named after the 2 months of the monsoon season in the Hindu calendar. And there's two more on the other side of the garden. Imagine during the rainy season, the emperor would sit there watching the gardens come alive with rains, fountains flowing, flowers blooming, maybe even peacocks. And we enter the Spain's documenting India's postal history. Here, India's first Mars mission stamp from 2013, when India became the first nation to reach Mars orbit on its first attempt. A monument of national pride captured on paper. And look at this, a replica of Shikara Post, India's first floating post office on Dal Lake in Kashmir. Imagine mailing a letter from a houseboat with the Himalayas in the background. And I'm sending a postcard to the family back home. A tradition as old as travel itself. It's gone. As we drive past, that's India Gate, built in 1931 to honor the 70,000 Indian soldiers who died fighting for the British Indian Army during World War One and the Third Anglo-Afghan War. Designed by Sir Edwin Lutyens, it stands 42 meters tall and bears the names of servicemen. And after independence, it became India's memorial to the fallen soldiers with an eternal flame burning day and night below the arch. And this is Baha'i Lotus Temple, one of the most visited buildings in the world. The Baha'i faith emerged in 19th century Persia, teaching that all religions are one, that all humanity is one, and that God's revelation is continuous and progressive. Baha'is believe in the unity of all people, equality of woman and man, and the elimination of all prejudice. There are only 9 Baha'i houses of worship in the world, and I got to visit the second one. This was built in 1986 with 27 marble petals from a lotus flower, sacred in Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Indian culture itself. Everyone is welcome here, all faiths, all people, because in Baha'i's vision, we're all petals of the same flower. Massive thank you for my guide for bringing Delhi stories to life. Want her contact? Drop a comment and stay tuned. More episodes soon.